once again, welcome back to Plot.
Right, well, good morning everybody. Once again, welcome back to Plot. Cold, miserable and flipping freezing day up here in the northeast. But, you know, we've just got to crack on. And what I like doing is on days like this, get up the Plot, have my coat up, put the kettle on and get myself in the greenhouse or the polytunnel. Polytunnels are fantastic for working over the winter in the cold days like this. Loads of people online as I say, wondering how to build them. Well, once I'm finished in here, I'll give you a little show outside because me and Roger are busy building a new one, and this is going to be for keeping my leeks and onions in. It's just a small tunnel compared to what we've got down the bottom end. The bottom end ones are 14 foot by 40 foot, and they're absolutely fantastic. They're really nice and high, so we can get shelves up the height, which I mentioned last week. Shelves is one of your main things in your greenhouse. You know, it's great for storing your stuff up, and it's actually fantastic for putting your seedlings up right up a height where they need that light. Especially this time of the year, March. It's an absolute beautiful month. Yeah, days are getting longer. It's late at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it doesn't get dark until 6 o'clock at night. So we've got 12 hours of light, which is great. And the seeds responded, absolutely fantastic. I was showing you last week the seedlings that were on their way. Over there, there's my tray of sprouts. As I say, not saying a legginess in them because they're up on the top shelf here. Even though it's cold, it's a cold greenhouse. Now, a few of the lads mentioned online, they were asking about sowing onions and sowing crops. Can they sow in a cold polytunnel? Of course you can. I'm going to sow these camomile tea this morning, the camomile seed, but they're going down at the polytunnel up on the top shelf, and they'll stop there. All they'll need is forecast to be -1 tomorrow. So when I sow them today, all they'll get is that piece of plastic over the top of them, and that'll just give them an extra bit of protection. But they'll be on the top shelf, full light, and that'll be on the top of it. I can leave them in here for one because this is just a cold greenhouse, but I want them growing as cold as possible. And like I say, for the camomile, it's going to be one of our main flowers for inside to bring pollinators in. Now, I've started very early. These are the chrysanthemum I showed you last week. Now they're just the size I love to pick off. So I'm going to pick a few of these off in a minute. I'll get these camomile sown first. I've got foxgloves down in the tunnel. I've planted a couple of big pots of foxgloves up, so they'll be in full flower in May and June. Absolutely marvellous, and they bring all them hoverflies in. Yeah, I was just amazed the other night on the television. I was watching the news, and this idiot was blah 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 on about Brazil and how they're building this big motorway through one of the rainforests, and it's absolute disgrace. They're chopping trees down by the millions just to build this poxy flipping motorway right through it, and then 5 minutes later they're complaining about the lack of hoverflies in the country. And pollinators, you just couldn't make it up. I mean, they're damaging the world in one part, and they're complaining about the other part because they're not getting the pollinators. You know, we gardeners, we try to be as friendly as we can towards the birds, the bees and everything else. The insects, not so much the pests, because sometimes I can just live with the pests. Some nice sprays that I use, the garlic spray and that, it's not a killer. It's a preventive, and you know, if I can get away with using a preventive spray, I'll do it every time. That's why I'm changing the neem oil this year, and that's another preventive. I don't think it kills the beasts out, the pests outright, but I think it's just a preventive. I am looking at the pyrathum, which is another one. It's based on the chrysanthemum, so that'll be another one that'll go into our arsenal to fight against them, because you know the pests are growing steadily every year by year, so we've got to try and find different ways. I mean, me and Roger switch our crops out every year. It's always in a different part of the garden. We'll put other plants with them that will help them, as I say, parent planting or companion planting as they call it. It's a great thing. You plant your carrots and plant your onions with your carrots and blah blah blah, your tomatoes and your basil, different things. Now I'm going to grow a lot of basil this year. I've got red and I've got the green. Now the basil will just start in pots, and the smell of that is absolutely marvellous, and hopefully that's going to bring in beneficial insects. We get a fantastic crop of tomatoes every year, but without them extra flowers, the marigolds, everything else that will put in there, you know, it mightn't be as good. But plenty of fertilisers in the ground, organic fertilisers, and plenty of flowers for the pollinators, and fantastic crop of tomatoes. But this is just one way we're going to combat being short of pollinators this year. A couple of lads, a couple of big growers won about last year. They lost a lot of seed, especially onions and that, because there wasn't the pollinators around. But this is just one way of bringing them into your greenhouse and open by your polytunnels and hoping to get a first class crop. So my usual, you know, look at the packet. The camomile packet is somewhere. Here it is. As I say, 9 times out of 10 I just throw the packet away. But for anybody just starting up, all your information is on the packet. Where, how, when. Now, with seed sowing with me, it's such an easy thing to do. And your main priority is your moisture, your compost. You've got a good compost. I mean, I use 3-2-1. This is 3-2-1 mix going for the camomile. It's my own mix. You will get weeds coming up amongst it, but once you know your weed from your seed, pull your weeds out. Same as the sprouts over there, it's a 3-2-1 mix. I've just potted the herbs up, and they've just been potted up in the 3-2-1 mix, but they just grow really nice and slowly. Back of the packet, it gives you a seed count. So straight away, your seed count is going to tell you what size seed tray to use. If you want a quarter, a half, or a full size seed tray. And the camomile is 400 seed, so I'll split my seed tray into 3. And once again, depth is another good thing. Don't plant your seed too deep. All you want is a bit of cane, a bit of bamboo, cheap as chips. Oh, this has been pre-soaked. It's absolutely soaking wet, the compost. Let it dry out for half an hour, let it drain down. And now I'm just going to press that cane into there. 1, 2, 3. And by pressing the cane in halfway down, that's giving you exact depth that we want. Just a couple of millimetres. Don't need any deeper than that. And then your compost on top, well, I like to use vermiculite, perlite, or if you haven't got any of them, your own compost, but put through a sieve and just lightly sieve over the top. A lot of seeds don't need to be covered. Just check on your packet. Polyanthus and stuff like that, you can sow on the top, press them in, and they'll grow easy. But camomile, they're going in. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there's 3 indentations in there with a cane. The bamboo, press that in, and we'll get the seed out. Now, one thing I have forgotten today is my glasses. I've always got to put my glasses on for these jobs. First thing, I like to have a look at the seed, see what colour they are. Sometimes you get a nice light seed in there. They're absolutely marvellous for sowing. But when you go to the brassicas, it's all dark seed, and a lot of the flowers are dark seed. But if you get a nice light seed, it's so easy to sow them. And what you can do with these little packets, what I like to do, is to tip it out and put it into the main packet. So there's a camomile seed there that's actually tiny. So I'm going to be very careful with these. That's them tipped out in there and then into the packet. So what I'm going to do is, where I've made the indentations, I'll get my glasses on. I get somewhere, yep. They're a light seed, but they're actually tiny. So I'm going to be very careful. And they are small, very small. They're not moving either. Oh, there they come. Now, I'm not too fussed about getting too many in a row. 400, that's roughly about 80. In a row. So that's them done. Yeah, all out. Planted up the 3 rows. I've got me vermiculite. It's well soaked. A little bit of vermiculite over the top of them. And they'll be fine. Now they're going in the bottom polytunnel on the shelf. Get the marker in them. Got your marker there somewhere, or I did have it. There it is. Find my pen. The pen's here somewhere. Loads of markers and all sorts over there. Camomile. Not only are they a fantastic flower to bring the pollinators into your greenhouse, what we're going to use them for is well to make the camomile spray, which is absolutely fantastic for keeping your plants nice and clean. So we've got them on, we've got the marker in. I'll probably put it on its side there, and then one of the trays that I took off, there it is. I'll give this a wash in the tank because it's not been used since last year. I'll sit on the top, never have it. And that's a first class way of sowing a seed, and you shouldn't have no bother whatsoever. One little thing I did mention was when you water, don't water out the butts. What I like to do is to go up when I'm early, go up to the tap and fill me watering can with nice fresh water. Bring it into the greenhouse the day before and let it warm up. Comes up to temperature, same as temperature as a greenhouse. Give it a good soaking. I never water my seed. I've seen them do it even on the telly. They put the seeds in, they put compost over, and then they go over the top of them, the watering can, they give them a pretty good soaking. And that's just moving the seedlings around on top of the compost. I never do that. Always pre-soak me compost. Put your seedlings in, put your covering over the top, and the moisture will just soak up your seedlings and whatever you've got on the top. Vermiculite, perlite, or just your compost, just your own compost, through a sieve and put a little covering over the top, and your moisture will soak upwards. And just keep them all nice and moist until they start coming through. If you need to water them again, if they're taking some seeds can take up to 20 odd days, sometimes longer. If you think they're taking a little bit longer to grow, and you think your compost is drying out, easy enough to get a tray. They're just soak trays. I always have them standing by here. And put a load of water in there, fresh water. Drop the tray in there for half an hour, and then lift it. You feel the weight in it, so you know it's getting real good soaking. And then take it out and put it on a bench, let it drain down again, and you're good to go. You don't have to water over the top of your plants. I never water mine until they get up to a decent size. So we'll stick them to one side. I'm quite happy with them, that's a camomile done. I'll put them on there for now, and then I'll take them down the bottom polytunnel. I'll get that little bit of cane out of the way because it's just stopping it. But piece of bamboo, cheap as chips, and press it in half, and that'll give you your exact depth that you want for your seedlings. And I use it every time and never fails me. Right, so we're getting on the chrysanthemum. That's another annual. It's an annual, but this is going to flower in the polytunnel. This is going to be another pollinator. Absolutely marvellous, first class. I might keep a couple of them in little pots for going down home in the border, but majority of them, there'll be a half a dozen of them, or a dozen, half a dozen in each polytunnel. We'll start them off in a 9cm pot like that. We can put them up in there, or we can put them up in a cup, whatever. Little half-pint cups, quarter-pint cups. Quite easy to do. I'll just shift this rubbish out my way. I've got a bag full of seedling bags down there that I've opened up in the last couple of days. We'll just put that in there for the time being. 3-2-1 mix once again. Just for potting up purposes. once again, sometimes I use my pen, the end of the pen. I use a bit of the stick, or if you've got the proper little tools to do it, whatever. And always use the marker for taking them out. Dig into them. Now these, I take a little, well rooted. Right, so we'll just level them up and let you have a little look at them. There's about 6 in there, in that little bunch here. But we'll split that into 2. That's one lot. And there's about 4 or 5 in that little bunch here, but that's perfect for me. Get my finger into there, the depth I want, press them in. Perfect. That's our first little pot of annual chrysanthemums for the pollinators. I'll do a couple more because they're easy to do. Normally I fill a full tray up. Once again, just gently hold them by the end. Get your finger in or your pen in, whatever you're using, just gently press them in. Put them down. And that's them done. You'll want watering in. What we'll do, we'll sit them in the tray, we'll fill the tray with water, let them take up whatever water they want, and then we'll put them in the bottom polytunnel. As I say, I've made up about 5 of these mixes in the last few weeks with the cement mixer, because we use that much compost. I'll just dig another section out. Sometimes you can just throw the whole tree out and then just get whatever you want off them. One just dropped off there. 2. That's 3. 2, 3. So one little bunch here. And then in between it, oh, lo and behold, there's a nice little weed there. Once you know your weeds from your seeds, it's quite easy to put them. A little bit of clover there. Pull them out. And there you have it. You've got a nice little bunch of flowers to go in. And with the finger, press them in. Just press them down gently. It's such an easy job. I can spend actually hours just potting off. Hours and hours and hours. Because it's such a rewarding. You don't want to pot them too big. I did mention it in last week on the video. When people tend to pot on, they tend to pot on into too big a pot, and the difference is fantastic. Coming from a tray like that, where they're nice and warm in that compost, even in a cold greenhouse, they're warm. You take them out of there and you put them in a big pot like that. And the temperature is absolutely amazing, because the amount of compost you get in there, the amount of compost that's in there, that's going to be really cold compared to that. And what you do is you give them a check. You check your plants, and it doesn't do them any favours whatsoever. So you just want to be it's a major shock for them to start with, transplanting shock that sometimes get. But you know, if you do it right, do it properly, they should pick up within a couple of days. If they don't pick up within a couple of days, and then you've done something wrong. But us, we find that the easiest way, as I say. I can just plot on here. Now I've done 4 pots here, and I've only stripped away this little bottom edge here. I'll probably get a dozen and a half out there. Now anybody else, they'll pot them off singly into trays, multi-purpose trays, multi-purpose pots. I use any amount. Normally I use them when I'm doing the bedding plants for lobelia, for dahlias, for marigolds, that they go into them ones. So the 6 or the 4s. I've got 4s down there. I've got the round ones that hold the small pots. You know, the trays is never ending. But just doing it correctly. There's me little cups here. I'll be putting the likes of marigolds and that, 2s and 3s. But I'll do all that later on when we start. Now that's one of the, I'll just pop them in there for now. That's one of the plants I did last year. I did lupins and I did delphiniums. That's one of the lupins, and there's just a little weed there. Just got my eye on. Just pop them through there. Now they looked, they were growing fantastic up until December, till the cold weather set in, and then they just died back. But don't worry about that, because what's underneath the soil is a lot different from what's above the soil. Same as the delphiniums, they're growing absolutely fantastic. They looked terrible a fortnight ago, but the root was there underneath, and it was just under that bit of compost. And of course, once the warm weather started, away they go. First class little plants. I've got 10 of them. I've saved 10 of them, and the delphiniums, I think I've got about 5 dozen, and that's just out of one packet of seed. You go down to the shop and you buy a delphinium, you're going to get it in a pot like that, and it's going to cost you £5 at least. Now I'm getting all them from one packet of seed, which costs us £3 odd. So, you know, if you want to grow your own perennials, you want to fill your garden with flower, and catch you in the autumn, when we start them off, we do sweet peas, we do Bellis daisy, we do pansy, we do loads of overwintering growing in the polytunnels, and they don't take much room, don't take a lot of time, because you just gently water them throughout the winter, just keep them moist, that's all. And in the springtime, when they start growing, you've got a first class plant for going into your garden, and that's the way to do it. But for the time being, I'm going to finish off these croissants. I've got the camomile tea done, I'm pleased with that. I've got larkspur coming up now, but they'll be another few weeks before they're big enough to pot off. The sprouts, I'll probably pot them off in next week's video. I'm going to sow some cabbage today, exactly the same way as I sowed the sprout, just in small seed tray, and broadcast them, and then put a little bit of compost over the top. I've got the first of the marigolds coming through, and I've got the first of the cornflowers. Now, cornflower, absolutely marvellous. I've got them in little pots, and when they grow through the seedlings, I'll split them into about 3 or 4 pots. Once again, they'll go into small pots like that, and then once they're a decent size, what we'll do, we'll probably put them into them. We'll put them into them pots from there to there, and then they'll just sit on the bed like that, in between the tomatoes. Apart from the marigolds will be planted actually in the soil alongside the tomatoes, but the likes of the pollinators will be planted in them, so we can shift them around the greenhouse as we need be. We can just pick them up. I know the roots will probably go through the bottom into the soil, because the soil in this is really rich, and they'll be looking for all the food they can get. But if you just kind to them, look after them, maybe you had to put a couple of stakes in for the tall ones like the cornflower and that, but you know, it's a little bit of time, and it's time well spent, and you look after your plants, and by God, they'll look after you, because once you get them pollinators coming through, them bees, the hoarflies and everything else that comes in, all the beneficial insects, and you'll never look back, because you'll get a full crop every time. You know, often we see people that very poor tomato pollination, very poor crops, but doing it this way, you shouldn't have any bother. And all we need to do after that is to go around and we'll check our trusses. Anything that's little on the end that hasn't been pollinated, we just cut them off and leave a nice full truss on. That's my croissants. Once again, pollinators, we'll get them in there, pour some water into there, let them soak that water up, and then I'll take all these down to the bottom polytunnel, and they'll be as happy as Larry down there. So as I say, I'm going to pop out here and I'll show you. You can see the hoops in there. That's my new tunnel. Yeah, we're going to grow our leeks and our onions in there, the big show onions and our big show leeks. We'll not be showing this year, but we're thinking about building some good stock up for next year, and hopefully we'll see how we get on, and we might get ourselves out and about a few of the shows. But all depends on my health and all next year, and see how we're doing. We've got quite a few jobs to do this year. Once we get that 100-foot greenhouse taken down, we've got to decide what we're going to put on there. I'm thinking about already putting a couple of benches right down the side of the plot. It's to house all our or summer bedding and that. Because once they come out the polytunnels, you need them outside. You need somewhere for them to chill off before they go out and plant it out in the garden. But we can sort it all out in the summer. We've got the pathways all to sort out. There's a bit mess at the moment down in the pathways, but it's only early spring yet. You know, we'll like to get all the pathways cleaned up in the summertime. We'll be ordering another load of chipping soon, so we'll get them all chipped, cleaned. Especially bottom pathways where we had them pallets. We've burnt all them, getting rid of all the pallets, and now we've got some black membrane to put on, and then we're just going to chip the whole lot of the pathways. Our garden runs slightly down to a slant down to the bottom there, and so when it rains, they come right down, and we'll really get flooded in the bottom ends. So chippings is going to be our way forward. Lift her up, and hopefully they'll soak away at the as the weather warms up. But that's it for today. I've got my cosmos, I've got my Livingston daisies, lots of summer bedding that we're starting on. I've got the petunias. I'm going to put them in this afternoon, but petunias are so easy. If you put your petunias in exactly the same way as I sowed the camomile tea, you shouldn't have any problems. But just don't forget, just press that in your compost when it's moist 2 or 3 times, even if you're using a half a tray. Just cut your cane down to size, same as your half tray. Put it down, press it in twice. Look on your seed packet, find your seed count first, see how many seeds is in, and then that'll guide you to whatever size seed tray you want, whether you use it. Half trays. Now I've used these quite a few times in the supermarkets with your chicken in or whatever you in. Just pop a couple of holes in them. If you've only got a few seeds in a packet, 20 or 30 seed, that's fine. You can broadcast them in one of them and then lightly cover with your compost, and then once out you can just throw them away back in your bin for recycling. Your standard half-size seed tray, and then your full-size seed tray. Quite easy to do, as I say. Just look in your packet, get your seed count, and then that'll determine what size seed tray you want. It's no good picking a pack of seed up with 40 seed in and putting them on a big 18-inch seed tray, because they're just going to be lost. A lot of my plants I just put in rows, and I never put them off singly, but we'll go all through that later on when we do start potting off. I always pop mine off in little bunches. It's much easier for planting out. Majority of them goes into these. If they don't go into them, the 6 cells will go into these. And what's better than planting a pot like that out, full of roots, with the 3 or 4 plants in, that's grown into a nice big bushy plant for planting out. Absolutely marvellous. That's where we do ours. If you want to follow it, by all means, just keep an eye on it. I'll get this video out Friday night, hopefully. I was a bit late last week because the weather turned bad again, and it took ages to get turned round. But we're going to start again on the tunnel tomorrow. It's forecast to be a bit better tomorrow. I mean, it was snowing just before as I come up. Sleet and snow. But I like to get up every day. I like to keep checking the paraffin heater. I like to keep checking the greenhouses, make sure everything's going all right. And like I say, when I'm up here, I can get a bit potting off done, get a few seeds sown, and I'm happy as Larry. Right, so I'm going to call it a day with this one. As I say, I'll go outside, I'll finish off, and I'll show you a bit around the plot, and then we'll call it a day for this week, and then next week we'll start again. Seed sowing, I've got loads of seed to sow, and we'll do a bit more potting off, and hopefully we'll get into the polytunnel and we'll show you exactly how we're getting on with that. Hopefully we'll have it more or less built by next weekend. That's a plan anyway. If the rain stops, I can get all the timber work put on, and then it's an easy job to put the nets on. We'll paint all the timber, put the nets on, polythene over the top. I've got the IBC tanks there. I've got 2 up the top, I've got 3 down the bottom in the 100-foot greenhouse. They're going to be emptied out. I know it's a big job, but it's got to be done. They're going to be emptied out and they're going to be brought over here, and they'll all be in a nice row. So we'll build a framework around each one all the way along. So what we can do in the winter, we can put a sheet of polythene over the IBC tanks and use them as benches. And that's what it's all about. It's using every space you've got in the winter. Because your plants, stock plants, I've got loads of stock plants down there. I know they're not doing any harm at the moment, but I like to keep mine under cover. and especially if you have leeks and onions for stock, you've got to have somewhere, you know, somewhere safe there. I know a lot of people just like to leave them in the garden, but my stock leeks are in there, and hopefully I'm going to pick up a couple of onions later on in the springtime, but we'll let you know how we'll get on with that. But for the time being, I'm going to knock off. You know where we are. If you want to catch up on some more videos, you'll have to go onto YouTube. It's Jeff Foreman on the Plot on YouTube. Get yourself on there and you can catch up on my videos from about 4 years ago. We've been doing it for quite a while now. Like I say, we like to help as many people as we can. Lots of young ones coming on, lots of young people coming on, which I'm pleased to say. Starting to get a bit of the bug, and there's nothing better than growing your own veg. Believe you me, and the taste is absolutely. Of course, all that hard work, you don't get out for out these days. You know, you've got to put the time in, put the effort in, and you reap your rewards. You get fantastic vegetables, and when you give it away to people, you know, there's nothing more satisfying than that. And yeah, there's a bowl of tomatoes that you grow yourself, or there's a bunch of flowers for you, or yeah, there's a couple of turnips to make yourself a nice soup. You know, there's nothing more satisfying than that. And grow them properly, get your garden turned around, and it'll reward you. Believe you me. I know it's a lot of hard work when you first start up, but after a few years, I've been out 50 years now, and it didn't get any easier. Like, I'm getting a little bit creaky now, but I still enjoy every day of it. So that wind's starting to blow now. Oh dear, it's coming right through the greenhouse door. But as I say, on days like this, I don't mind opening the greenhouse at all. Just a cold greenhouse, not doing any harm whatsoever. It's changing the air, it's getting that fresh air in, getting that stale air out. And it's exactly the same down home. I might have the heater on down there, but I'll open that door for a few minutes just to get that air changed. And there's no accumulation of damp, stale air. One of the pictures online, I think it was last night in 94, there's a young lady showed with a tray of lobelia, half red, half blue. And you could see in the middle. Straight away I look at it, it's dampening off. And that's one of the worst things you can get. It's just either overwatering or you're using cold water. And it's shocking the plants, and the dampening off's one of the worst things you can get, because you can have a tray of seedlings one night, go the next morning and a lot of them are flat over. Just watch what you're doing, watch how you're watering. If you're going to spray camomile tea, do it mid-morning when it's not too cold. Keep your sprayers handy, and then when you're watering, water from underneath. Put your tray, let it soak up, take it out, and I find that I get by much easier by doing it that way. Okay, so I'll see you all again next week. I'll show you how we're getting over the polytunnel. I'll give you a look at the bottom end here, how we're busy starting with this one, and we'll have a little walk into the bottom polytunnels, but then I'll leave it until next week for another vid. Okay, so I'll see you all again soon. Happy gardening. Afternoon everybody. Right, I'm starting this video off. I've got the sun and me back. It's absolutely beautiful here in the northeast. What a cracking afternoon. But I'm hoping to get this video finished today. This is my new tunnel that we're busy building, me and Roger. I've got the posts in here. These are going to be for the door frame. I've got a set of double doors there to go on when we get some of this rubbish cleared. At the moment I concreted in, but we've got all our scaffold tubes in, all our baseboards along the bottom there, and of course our 50mm pipe onto the tubes, and then of course the hoops. Straight around we'll have timbers up and down the sides here, especially on here. We'll have timbers on there, and that's where we'll be able to join the nets too. Join the nets, and of course the polythene also. This is going to be the back of the tunnel. So I've got one big solid post in here, then I'll take a few side shoots off here and create some two little vents in the back there. As I say, with polytunnels, we've just been busy doing that bed. That's ready for our first main crop chickies. They'll probably go in a fortnight's time. He's busy on with that. We're busy on our pathways. We're trying to get all the pathways cleared, and some new black weed suppressant put on. At the moment it's we've got that many jobs to do. This is inside the 100-foot greenhouse. This is the one that's going to come down. We've started at the far end, taking bits and pieces off. What I managed to do was get the shallots in here. Then I had a row of Jap onions to put in. And of course I've got the garlics that were overwintered just in pots here at the far end there. We just stuck them in there. There's a half a dozen that we had in pots there in the far end there. And of course, as I say, if you want to try and grow garlics inside, this is the easiest way I know of doing it. Is to start them off in pots outside so they get a really good freezing, and then bring them inside. Of course, there's no polythene, just a bit shade on the sides for them. There's no polythene on the roof, and the rain's just coming straight through, so it saves me watering them. But that's another job for another time. It's starting to fill up. It's a spring cabbage now. I've got to get them fed this week. I'll make it a job to do. The Jap onions I'll probably start in next week's video. I was hoping to get it done over the next couple of weeks, but as I say, at the moment things have been pretty hectic. Now there's my early tatties. I've got 3 rows there of Swift, absolutely marvellous. The spring bedding, I've just sent a load out today to my sisters and a few of my friends. This is my sweet peas, absolutely beautiful looking plants. I'll plant a couple of these in the polytunnels for early propagators. There's trayfuls of Sweet William there. There's trayfuls of Billet Daisy. All these will probably go out tomorrow. These trays will be empty, and then we can get them. This is all the timber for the new tunnel. We've been stripping nails and cleaning the ends up. So it's all work in progress. It's like a sawmill in here. But once I get it cleaned out, hopefully we'll get the tatties grown away, and then we'll be able to, once the tatties come out, we'll probably put the sweet corn, peas, courgettes, chilies, peppers, everything else will go in here. We'll probably, we might do the 3 sisters again this year. I'll explain a bit later on. These are some of the glass panels that's coming out the 100-foot greenhouse. So I've got 12 of these all together, but they're going to the guy farther up the garden. He's got a pigeon loft that he wants to take out the front and replace it with glass. But yeah, all good. The melon house, right, chocker, dahlias, just starting to put up there, lovely. We're getting a few green shoots off them. Over the moon with them. I've got the, remember the pot leeks that were put in 3 weeks ago? I just like to nip the weeds off the top there. They're just popping through there. There's a few just starting to come through there. And I just like to keep the weeds down. With being a 3-2-1 mix, you will get a little bit of grass not growing, but that's nothing. That's all our grapevine cuttings. Quite a few of them this year, 3 varieties. We've got the green, we've got the red, and we've got the black. Now I have been filling the greenhouse up with leeks and onions, trying to make myself some room from down home. These are the couple of onions that I brought up. Absolutely marvellous in that. They're just enjoying this condition in here. It's not hot by all means. It's a little bit cooler than what it is down home. But I've got quite a few of I've got Woodses, I've got Blues, and I've got a few, I think they're King Charles, the smaller ones. I kept 6 of the biggest ones of each variety down home, and just to force them on a little bit. But these ones are just ticking over just nicely. Well chuffed for that. Oh, peach tree, it's absolutely amazing. It's just full of blossom, absolutely beautiful. Now, I love it this time of the year. That's the job I've just looking up there, and I just got my eye on them. It's a tray full of chrysanthemums up there. I'll have to get them down and get them watered. There's all sorts of plants coming through here. I'm going to have to go through them all, de-weed them, and get all the bits and pieces out of them. But yeah, they're all growing away nicely. These are the lovely little bulbs that I took out the wife's garden. I'm going to have to replace them. They're absolutely stunning. I love them this time of the year. And of course, up at height, it's full and all. I have to get up there, make sure all them are well watered, check all them before I go away. And as I say, spring cabbage, they need a good feed, they need a good watering today. Actually, I'm going to have to do that. What they need on here, we've lost one down there, and probably could lose another one there. No, don't know what's going on there. It's very unusual for us to lose cabbages in here. No sign of any pests yet, but we'll have to keep an eye on them. What I will be doing this week is giving them a good feed of sulphate of ammonia, or nitro choke, just a sprinkling around the roots and a good watering in, and they should be fine. Well, leeks are still. This is another leek I've just picked up last week. This is a blanch leek. This is going to go away for seed. It's bone dry that. I'm going to get some water in there. Now these are Mickwood's number ones. We found out the name last week from a lad that supplied them from the leek show that they were in. So they're stock plants for next year. But we'll keep a good eye on them, and we'll make sure we get some good seed head of them. So that's the second polytunnel. Now we're going to get up, and I'm going to start doing a little bit of seed sowing up the top end. First I want to get these garlics out of the way. They call it bulbils, but we'll do that once we get up. Get my jacket off and all, because it's absolutely scorching up here. Okay.